Imagine you're flying in a plane cruising at 39,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean. Beneath you lies nothing but a cold, deep, and unforgiving sea. Your destination is just 2,700 kilometers away, and then suddenly you receive terrifying news. The plane is out of fuel. This isn't a scene from a movie, it happened in real life. On August 24, 2001, Air Transat Flight 236 was en route from Toronto, Canada to Lisbon, Portugal. The Airbus A330, a modern aircraft, was carrying 293 passengers, 2 pilots and 13 crew members. The plane's captain, Robert Pichet, was a highly experienced pilot with over 16,000 flight hours. His co-pilot, Dirk de Jager, was also extremely capable with 5,000 hours of experience. The aircraft was in top condition, relatively new and technologically advanced. Everything was going smoothly. The plane had reached its cruising altitude of 39,000 feet. Most passengers were asleep, and the autopilot was maintaining steady flight. Then suddenly, an unusual warning appeared. The right engine was showing abnormal oil pressure, low quantity, and low temperature, a combination that didn't make sense. The pilots quickly checked the flight manual, but found no reference to such an error. They contacted the maintenance team, but even they couldn't provide any clear answers. Since the plane was flying normally, the pilots assumed the warning was due to a faulty sensor, and they chose to ignore it. 30 minutes later, another warning appeared, this time about fuel levels. Normally, fuel is evenly distributed in both wings to maintain balance, but now, the right wing showed significantly less fuel than the left. The captain acted immediately, opening the crossfeed valves to allow fuel from the left wing to transfer to the right wing. Things seemed fine again for a moment. Then came the most dreaded warning a pilot can receive: no fuel. Now the situation was critical. Even combining the remaining fuel in both wings, it was no longer enough to reach Lisbon. Only one option remained: Lajes Airport, located on a small island called Terceira in the Azores, right in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. The captain contacted air traffic control immediately and requested permission to land. But by that time, only 7 tons of fuel were left, far less than what the plane would normally require. And with nearly 1 ton of fuel being lost every 5 minutes, it became evident that the fuel was leaking rapidly. Then, the right engine caught fire. The plane now relied on only one engine. Soon after, that engine failed too. The aircraft was now gliding completely without power. All onboard systems shut down, except for a few powered by air-driven turbines. The pilots struggled to control the aircraft, working hard to keep it flying. Meanwhile, the crew quickly prepared the passengers for a potential emergency water landing, aware that their chances of survival. The plane dropped to 9,000 feet and was still 120 kilometers away from the airport. If they couldn't reach it in time, an emergency landing in the ocean would be inevitable, and survival would be uncertain. Either instant death or hypothermia from the freezing water. Demonstrating extraordinary skill and calm, the captain executed a 360-degree turn to lower the plane's altitude further, lining up for a possible landing. Eventually, the aircraft hit the runway hard, bursting 8 tires. The landing gear caught fire, but emergency crews acted swiftly and brought the situation under control. All passengers were safely evacuated, although 16 passengers and 2 cabin crew sustained injuries. The fuselage and main landing gear also suffered structural damage. Flight 236 made aviation history as the first and only commercial flight to glide the longest distance after a complete dual-engine failure successfully. The investigation later revealed that the fuel leak was caused by a cracked fuel line in the right engine, resulting from interference between the fuel and hydraulic lines. This misalignment occurred due to an incomplete implementation of a service bulletin during engine replacement, a technical oversight that almost led to disaster. This was one of those rare moments where experience, decision-making and sheer luck came together to save over 300 lives. This amazing story also reminds us how important it is to always be ready for the unexpected, have good training, and inspect our equipment carefully. Got thoughts on this miracle landing? Drop a comment below. Consider giving it a thumbs up, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to our channel.